If you want to know about my shirt, this is a birthday present from Kent and Kevin. If you've never seen the movie What About Bob, you have missed everything. Rent it today. All of life can be explained with What About Bob. The title of the day is Jumping the Shark. Now, none of you are old enough to remember this, but I'm going to explain it to you. Back in the 70s, there was a TV show called Happy Days, which was a spinoff from the movie American Graffiti. And it was one of these 70s sitcoms to where everybody wound up alive and back where they were supposed to be at the end of the show. It was a feel-good thing. And the tough guy was the Fonz. He was like 5'6", 120 pounds, but everybody was afraid of him because he wore a leather jacket. But anyway, and he could move things with his things. It's funny. But what happened was that when the show was really dwindling down in its ratings, they wrote in this episode where Fonz was going to ski jump over a shark tank. And so we knew at that point the show was over. And so that phrase, jumping the shark, came into our conversation from that point on, that when something has jumped the shark, we know it's over. Okay? And so the title today is Jumping the Shark. Next page. See, for me, like when Barney left Andy Griffith, they jumped the shark. When Nikki and Mariah Carey joined American Idol, they jumped the shark. When Michael left The Office. And when we have millionaire athletes taking the knee during the national anthem, that jumped the shark for me. Okay? It's the point where you finally say, I'm done. Okay? And that is the most powerful. You don't understand how powerful that position is. Because when you finally make up your mind, I'm done, then you know what? Nothing gets past that. But until you settle that, you know what? Your life is an open door for whatever the devil wants to bring in. Next page. In Genesis chapter 25, let's go there real quick. If I offend anyone today, I'm really sorry in advance. I mean that. I'm so old and so yeah, well, there are visitors here today, so I just want to know. One time I spun around real hard and I had my Bible in my hand, and the page broke and it went all the way to the back row. And they never came back. So I'm really sorry. I'm not throwing my Bible anymore. I'm learning. But Genesis chapter 25. Now, this is fun today, but it's also, I want to kind of get down in here and dig it out.
That's good. Okay. We're ready.
How many of you know that God's on your side? Yeah. Right? Yeah. That whatever He tells you is to help you. Yeah. Whatever He shows you in His Word is not to condemn you. I met a young lady yesterday, and she was talking about how she had been raised in a very, very confining, traditional environment growing up. And I was trying to talk to her how I got saved late in life, and that because I was an engineer, my mind worked differently, and I thought God should make sense. I mean, really, I never took anything at face value. I had to study it out and go, what are we doing there? What's that for? Because if it doesn't have any reason, then why do it, right? And so what happens is that in this church environment, all these things are tacked on to, how you look and what you do. And it's like, and I know that's important, but I want you to understand this morning that what you're doing with your life is not going to get you to heaven. Amen. Whether you're curse or don't curse, that doesn't get you to heaven. It's the sacrifice that Jesus made gets you in. And once you're in, then He gets in you, and then He begins to change things from the inside out. And so, yes, you want to see evidence that things are growing. It's kind of like we have what we call house plants at the Cain house. They're just really pots with dead things in them, but we keep watering them. If you want a plant to die, bring it to me. I can kill it in no time flat. Okay? But see, we just pretend it's still a house plant, but it's just a dead thing sticking in a pot. Okay? Well, see, if your relationship with God is just something you're watering every day, but there's no life or no growth, and we need to check, make sure that thing's still alive, right? And so in Genesis chapter 25, I'm sorry. It's the story of Jacob and Esau. If I can get there, I'm not real good with my left hand. So, okay, there we go. I'm just going to skip to the chase. It says, so the boys grew, verse number 27, and Esau was a skilled hunter, a man of the field, but Jacob was a mild man, dwelling in tents. And so I just, in my mind's eye, you can picture this however you want to. I'm thinking, Esau was probably cooked me one time. This is Esau, you know. That's not actually Esau. And I'm just thinking, that's in my mind's eye. This is Esau. He's a hunter-gatherer. And maybe Jacob, I don't know. I'm just saying, he likes lotions and swatches and stuff like that. I mean, okay, and so we move on. Verse number 2. Daddy, what does that mean? So now Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was wearied. And Esau said to Jacob, please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. Therefore his name was called Edom, which means red. But Jacob said, sell me your birthright as of this day. Sell me your birthright as of this day. Now this is the deal. Esau was the firstborn. They were twins, but he was the first one to come out. And that was just, the luck of the draw. And so, because of that, though, it means everything. Because he was the firstborn, half of the inheritance goes to him. Every other sibling has to divide up what's left, but half automatically goes to him. The blessing that was handed down to his father will now be handed to him. He is in the bloodline of God, the flow of blessing that is going to come to him. But you know what? Here he is, a young person, and I'm going to tell you something. You know what makes me angry about this whole football thing is that those guys that are kneeling or whoever's protesting don't understand the price that has been paid for us to get to do that. Yeah. The lives that have been lost, the blood that has been spilled, the people over there on the beaches of Normandy that have fought for people that will never be able to pay us back. But see, in the church, we're the same way. We don't understand the price that has been paid for us to be able to sit here this morning in this building. Y'all don't even know the price has been paid to be in this building this morning. And so here's Esau, and he's so representative of this day and age. He said, birthright's birthright. I'm hungry. I'm famished. That looks good. It smells good. Give me that pot of stew. And Jacob says, I'll tell you, give me your birthright. He said, birthright? I'm about to die. What is a birthright to me? And I'm going to tell you something right now. You better listen to me. When I was a young person, when I was a kid, I got the fear of God stomped into me. And I remember being so afraid of certain things that I didn't, I didn't get into drugs. You know why? Because I was so afraid of them that I never wanted to try them. I knew that, first of all, let me just tell you, this may be out of whack and old-fashioned, but I didn't want to be embarrassing to my parents. I didn't want to get caught doing something that would bring shame on my family. And so there was a certain amount of fear and respect and honor that kind of kept things at bay. Yes. But if your future, if your name, if your tomorrow doesn't mean anything to you, and all you care about is satisfying your craving right now, because after all, that's what the world tells us, isn't it? If it feels good, do it. Right. If it feels so good, how can it be wrong? Well, I tell you it can be wrong because it says so right there. Right. And why is God doing that? To keep us from not having any fun? No, to save our life. Yeah. And to save our kids and to save our grandkids. But see, right now, this is the generation right now that is going to transfer for the first time in history more debt than inheritance to their children. Wow. We're not handing them an inheritance. We're handing them our reverse mortgage. Wow. We're handing them our debt because we just didn't care about what their life would be. And let me tell you something. Let me just go a little further. The Bible says that if you don't correct your child, you hate them. Amen. That's exactly right. But we don't want sweet thing to be mad at us and be, because we're going to wear matching outfits when we go to the mall. I didn't get none of that when I was growing up. Yeah. You ever have to go get a switch?
Yes. To beat you with.
That was torture right there, man. If you didn't get a big enough one, he'd make you go get another one.
Yep.
And you just praying them leaves would come off. And I lived. Amen. I lived from his belt. I lived and I learned I don't do that again. Exactly. Amen. I'd rather do the right thing than do that. Esau's standing there and he's saying, I'm hungry. My flesh has needs. Do you know what? Your flesh does have needs. And your flesh will never, look at me, ever be satisfied. I don't care how much you feed it, how much you give it, how much you drink, how many drugs you take, how much sex you have. You will never be satisfied. So if you let your flesh be in control, you will always be out of control.
Wow.
But I'm telling you what, there's a point where you can jump the shark and say, you know what, I'm done.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
Put my leather jacket on. Hey! Next time. Later, Esau would claim that Jacob tricked him. Where's the trick?
Right.
I'll give you the soup, you give me my birthright. What was that, sleight of hand? He ain't got nobody blaming himself.
That's right.
That's another thing that's characteristic of our time. We always got to blame somebody else for what's wrong with us. And until you're willing to take responsibility for what you've done and the choices you've made, and you know, I don't care if everybody in your life has abused you. You still have a choice to make as to how you're going to respond to it. You're going to let it define your life, you're going to let it be your life, or you're going to step out and say, you know what, that was them, that was then, this is me, this is now, we're going forward. What trick? Esau wound up in trouble because he did not value his future. All he cared about was his present. If you make all your decisions based upon the present, you're always going to be in trouble. If you're not thinking ahead as to where you're going and the repercussions of these things, you will do things that you will regret later. Next page. Eternal things are of little value in the present when compared to the insatiable desires of the flesh. But I can guarantee that their future value will be priceless to you. Let me tell you something right now. One of the most sickening experiences of your life should be a yard sale. It should make you want to vomit uncontrollably. Amen. Because you're selling stuff you paid good money for that you just had to have, and you paid them $100 for it, and you're gonna sell it for 50 cents. My wife will not let me price that stuff because I'll go back by keep adding zeros. Nobody's coming to buy my junk for what I paid for it. And what I'm realizing is that the older I get, I wish I had the money than that stupid thing that I had to have. Yeah. Who wants an amp roller? All they do is you hang laundry on them. Okay, sorry. That's just venting a little bit. Next page. Well, I want you to know that there may be people here today that for one reason or another, one way or another, either by your choice or circumstances beyond your control, your life was stolen from you. The life you dreamed of, the life you always wanted, was stolen from you. And you've learned how to adapt to where you're at. You've learned how to live with the place you're at. You've learned how to make brick without straw. You've learned how to live under a taskmaster. You've given up on your dreams and you just kind of found a way to just live your life out without conflict. Because if you dare to dream again, if you dare to hope again and open those doors again, you might be disappointed. Well, let me tell you something. You're right where the devil wants you. And I'm here to say this morning that God is flinging open the door and letting everybody free. He's ready to say, when you're ready to say, I'm done, I've had enough, I've jumped the shark, God's ready to bring your dream right back to you.
Amen.
Amen? Amen. Your hopes were dashed because of bad choices or bad advice or bad company. But your path took a turn for which you have never been able to recover. I got good news. We're going to get you there. Get it back today. Next page.
All right. That's good, man.
Well, if that's your case, what are you going to do about it? Now, I'm going to tell you something. Look at me. You know, you shouldn't have stumbled in here today. Because from today forward, you have no more excuse to blame anything on your past or what somebody did to you. This is it. This is the last day where you can say, well, if that hadn't happened, okay, it did happen. We can't do anything about it. But you know what that is yesterday? What are you going to do with the rest of your life? If you're still drawing the breath, if you're not under 6 feet of dirt, then God is not finished with you. And if you give in now, what a shame. Shame on you for quitting. Next page. Well, let's go back. In Genesis chapter 27, Rebekah loved Jacob and Isaac loved Esau. And that's just unfortunate. But that happens sometimes. I don't think I was the favorite child in my family. I think I was so much like my dad that we butted heads. We were so opposite. But it's like we're so alike. Every day I look in the mirror and I'm going, God, please don't let me turn into my dad. But I am. We all are. And so Rebecca told Jacob, take his, put on some pants and go out and bring me a goat. And I'm going to cook that because Esau was going to kill a deer and cook it for his dad because his dad's about to die now. And his dad's gone blind. Okay? And so Rebecca realizes that he's fixing to pass the blessing down to his son, Esau. So she gets Jacob to go, and this is the part that I'll just scare you a little bit. She said, go bring me the goat, and we're going to put on you a hairy suit. Boy, Esau must have been just home as a Dodge truck. I mean, you know what I mean? That's how they told them apart. One was hairy and the other one.
We're twins.
So Rebecca put hairy gloves on Jacob. He went in there and took the cooked goat to his dad. And his dad, he said, the voice is Jacob, but you feel and smell like Esau. And so the most hard thing happened. Isaac puts the blessing on Jacob. Now, how important is that? That's just some of that formality.
Nope.
Ain't no big deal. You know how important that is? Because in Exodus, when God was talking to Moses, he said, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Should have been Esau.
Right.
Oh, wow.
God counts this stuff pretty seriously, right?
Yes, he does.
And so Jacob took the blessing. You know why? He didn't. See, everybody says he's a supplanter and he's a stealer. He didn't steal anything. Because when you give away, listen to me, when you give away your birthright, you forfeit your blessing.
Exactly.
If you quit owning up to and assigning your own identity to Jesus Christ, don't expect the blessing to follow your life. If you're one of those incognito Christians that you just show up on Sunday and nobody else in the world knows you're a believer, don't expect the blessing of God to be on your life.
Right.
Right?
Amen. Sir.
And so he leaves, and then Esau comes bumbling in with the deer. Hook down. I'm making all this.
Well, I mean,
Food. And Isaac is terrified because he knows what's happened. And it said that Esau wept until he couldn't weep any longer.
wow.
And he cried out and he said, Father, do you not have another blessing? He said, I don't have that blessing, but I'll give you this one. Let me tell you something. This is our blessing. Okay, because see, Satan came and he took our birthright. Satan came and he tricked Adam and Eve. And he stole our place in heaven. And he stole what belonged to us. And Jesus came to buy it all back. Now, how do we get it back in our house? Here's our blessing. By your sword, you're going to live. See, some of you better get to the point where you quit listening to CNN and Fox News. And you better pick that sword up and let this be the guiding light of your life. By your sword, you're going to live. This is going to take care of all my vengeance. This is going to take care of all the things that need to be righted in my life. I'm not going to go out and fight my fights because the battle is the Lord's. He's going to fight for me.
Yeah.
Amen.
By my sword, I'm going to live. I may serve my brother, but it's going to come to pass. Put your finger in there and say it's going to come to pass. Say it with me. It's going to come to pass. Like a kidney stone, it's going to come to pass. When you become restless. See, as long as you're satisfied with your sin, it ain't going anywhere. As long as you are comfortable with it, it's not going anywhere. But when you get plumb fed up with the way things are, and you say, that's it! I'm jumping the shark! I will not be this person another day! And things will radically change.
Yes, sir.
That you will break his yoke from your neck. Everybody say yoke.
Yeah.
Next page.
Thank you, Lord.
In another version, it says this: you will live by the power of your sword and by your brothers and be your brother's slave. But when you decide to be free, you will break legs. I had a cathartic experience this week. Next page. I'll come back to that one. Go to another picture there, Johnny. I'm going to come back. There you go. We had some stuff that we're trying to renovate. This old god-awful furniture. I just don't like old furniture. Because I've had furniture in my house. I know what happens to furniture.
Right.
Just some of it just go nasty away one day, you know. It's like, and so we were trying to figure out, do we give it to a Habitat or Goodwill or what? And all of a sudden I took it out on the balcony and I threw it off.
Yes.
Kent, when it hit the ground, it shattered into a million pieces, and it was the most lifting experience I've had in weeks. It was like, that is so awesome. Not only will I not have to look at that god-awful PVC entertainment center, no one else will ever have to look at that god-awful PVC entertainment center. It's gone. I didn't break that yoke. I destroyed that yoke. With all the super glue in the world, you'll never put it back together. It'll never be what it was before. Holding that god-awful cheap Radio Shack stereo unit that should have never been bought, much less manufactured. Freedom. Now, y'all don't think I'm crazy, but this is what's prompted this whole message. I thought, you know what? I bet there's stuff in your house that represents something. That represents something and you've been sweeping around and dusting for it, but you hate it. You really hate what it represents. It's something back there that brings pain to your life. And I'm telling you, this is the day that you go home and set it on fire. This is the day you go get a hammer and bust it into pieces and say, this is the last day that you're going to ruin my life. I'm not going to let you define me. I'm not going to let you torture me. I'm not going to let you have this thing come to me. And you know what? I don't care if it's an heirloom or not. It's time to clean house. It's time to jump the shark. Isaiah 10:27 says it. Go back one more, Big Daddy. It'll come to pass that day that his burden shall be taken off your shoulder, and his yoke from your neck, and your yoke shall be destroyed. Everybody said destroyed. Because of what? The anointing. You're not here to do this by yourself. All God wants you to do is to come to the place where you said, I'm done. Until you come to the place where you say, I'm done, the anointing won't take place. But when you say, I'm done, then the anointing takes flight. And it goes to conquer and to do in your life what God has purposed and willed to do in your life. Because now he's got your will out of the way. Next page. The word destroyed literally means to wind tightly as a rope. Watch this. To bind by a pledge, or to writhe in pain as if giving birth. I studied this and I thought, Lord, that wasn't what I was expecting. And then I realized something. If I'm going to get away from where I'm at, Marty, I got to get twisted together with who Jesus is. I got to get so intertwined with him that you don't know where Jesus ends and Charley begins. We're wound into one cord. We're one rope. We're uneasily broken. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to make a pledge. Before I get started, I've got to, with my mouth, announce, I'm done. I'm jumping the shark. Things are going to be changed in my life. I hate this. And I love him. And it's never going to be the same. And yes, it may be painful. But giving birth to vision always is. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't cost you anything, it's not worth anything to you.
Right.
Next page. Oh. Yokes and burdens, they must be destroyed, not merely discarded or even broken. If the pieces can still be identified, you'll find a way to assemble them.
All right.
They must be unrecognizable so the next generation will not fall into the same trap.
Wow.
Next page. When Jesus solved this whole problem in Luke chapter 4, when he came to the synagogue and he picked up the book and opened it to this page. This was not a random act. I wanted to share something with you. It just didn't fall on him that way. He flipped through until he found this passage and he read this to them. He said, the Spirit of the Lord is up on me because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, recovery of sight to the blind, and set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. And he said that when he finished reading, he closed the book and he sat down And all eyes were upon him. Now, if I had just read that and I sat down, you're okay right there. And I sat down, all eyes wouldn't be upon me, they'd be on up here. But see, in those days in the synagogue, there was a seat on the stage where they kept open in case the Messiah showed up.
That's right.
Guess where he sat down? And he said, this day this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing.
Oh, praise God. Hallelujah.
Right there's a jump in the shark moment. Because it was at that moment they wanted to throw him off a cliff and see if he could fly.
That's right.
Well, let me ask you a question as you look at this verse. And don't answer out loud because this is rhetorical, which means I don't want you to answer.
Okay.
What do the gospel need, evidently? I mean, what do the poor need? What do the brokenhearted need? What do the captives need? What do the blind need? What do the oppressed need? See, our first inkling would say, well, the poor need the gospel. Brokenhearted need to be healed. The captives need liberty. The blind need sight, and the oppressed need liberty. No. You know what they all need? The anointing. That's all you need is the anointing. You're looking for an answer, and you are the answer. The power is within you to do whatever the need requires. You're trying to match things up. Just realize, you know what? Whatever you've done, Satan, I've got the remedy right here. I've got the antidote for whatever poison you've injected. Watch what God's going to do when he gets out of me and up on me. Somebody help me this morning.
Yes.
Why is he proclaiming the acceptable year? Because the acceptable year is the year of Jubilee. The year of Jubilee, everybody got set free. Every debt got repaid. If you lost property, it was returned to you. If you were slaves, you were set free. Everything got wiped off as if the map, as if all your history was just torn out and you got a fresh start. And I'm here to tell you, the anointing of God this morning is here to bring you a brand new start. Thanks, Patrick. They must be destroyed or pulverized, not merely discarded or even broken. I don't know why I broke that twice. Here's what I want you to hear. A pledge is a vow. It's your word. It involves pain. The pain of pushing out a whole new you. You're giving birth to God's vision of you. If you don't hate it, it isn't going anywhere. When you decide to be free, get restless. When you realize that you are anointed, you will destroy his yoke and you will be free. Won't you pray with me right now?
Amen.
We're going to say our confession, but I want to pray with some folks this morning. I'll let you get out of here a little early today. What is an altar call for? Well, it's not to build up the ego of the preacher. It's not to do some emotional thing. But I'll tell you this. If you're going to walk with Jesus, your emotions are going to be involved. He made you that way. The more you shut yourself off to them, the less you'll be able to feel and sense him. But as I give you this altar call this morning, I believe there's people in this room that would say to me, somewhere along the line, I lost the life I dreamed for. Somewhere along the line, somebody stole something from me. Somebody injured me. Somebody changed my course. And I've never been able to get back. And it's somehow or another been a defining moment in my life. I'm going to open this altar. I'm not going to pry into your affair, and nobody's going to notice or be staring at you. They're thinking about themselves. But this is an opportunity for you to physically respond to what the Holy Spirit is speaking to you in your heart. And I believe with all my heart, I've been praying about this, that if you respond this morning, the axe will be laid to the root of a problem that you have fought your entire life. And you will see through the anointing of the Holy Spirit, and not by your willpower, and not by your own strength, or your own might, or your own study, but you'll watch this thing fall apart and collapse around you, and you will see the beginnings of what you always dreamed of. But you gotta respond. You gotta say, okay, you know what, Lord? I'm gonna trust you one more time. I'm gonna give you my life this morning. I'm gonna give you this carcass of a person that I am the rest of my days. If you've never received Jesus as Lord and Master of your life, God, what a great day to do it. What a great day to say, Jesus, I don't even understand what all this means, but I want all of you this morning. I don't want to take back with me the thing I walked in here with. I feel my heart beat down in my chest. I know you're wanting something to do.